This is Annie Koshy, and with me today I have TJ Dosanjh, who is here from California. Hi, TJ.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. So TJ, for all of our listeners, is a body fitness trainer, I guess, fitness physique trainer based out of California. TJ was born in California and he has completed 2 degrees, one in business as well as in health and fitness. He began, I guess, many, many years ago as a kabaddi, and I don't think I'm saying that right.
Yeah, kabaddi.
Yeah. There you go. There's a version that I didn't totally mess that one up. But that was something that he did for 10 years. So tell us about your journey into sports and fitness, and were you always like this as a young child?
Yeah, so I would say my journey began from a young age. I used to watch my dad work out in the garage, and I was one of those kids who always want to be like his dad, want to be big, have the muscles and whatnot, and I used to go in the garage and just start working out with him.
Now, your dad working out in the garage, that itself is very unusual. Was there a particular reason? Was he always into sports?
Yeah. So he actually used to play kabaddi as well, and he was just in general into weightlifting, health and fitness, and just taking care of himself, essentially.
Right.
So he really liked working out, and that gave me, I guess, the drive, essentially, to pursue that myself. And I started working out with him. He wouldn't let me touch the weights at a younger age.
Okay, is there a particular reason why?
Yeah, so it is true, based on the research I've done as well. It will stunt your growth. So it's always recommended for someone to mature, essentially hit puberty, and then afterwards start touching the weights. So I was doing a lot of body weight exercises. He went to the extent to even go to the elementary school where I attended and measure out the monkey bars, the pull-up bars, and he literally replicated or duplicated it and built it and put it in our house. So I started doing pull-ups and everything on this. Yeah.
So that's pretty privileged. I don't think I know of anyone in my entire life that has had a dad go and replicate the playground and bring it home. Yeah. It's like, we're going to the park. No, I'm just going to my backyard, right?
Yeah. So it was pretty neat having that. So that's where I kind of started doing my body weight exercises, doing pull-ups, doing the push-ups, messing around on the monkey bars, and I gained a lot of strength just from doing that. I didn't gain a whole lot of muscle. I was strong, but it wasn't big by no means. I know I had mentioned to you earlier, my nickname when I was playing Pop Warner football was TJ the Sticks Dosanjh, just to give you an idea of how skinny I was.
Yeah, well, you've made up for that in terms of muscle and whatnot now. So you actually, so there are a number of things that you've reached in terms of milestones and goals that a lot of people would be very, very interested in knowing. Tell us about kabaddi and your journey in that. What is that, and a bit of background?
So I played kabaddi from the age of 18 to 28. So
and you can relate that to what type of, which sport?
I would say kabaddi is a combination of, first off, there's no equipment, so there's no gear, just wearing shorts, barefoot, matter of fact. A combination of like rugby, wrestling, football, kind of a mix. All wrapped up in one, yeah. So a lot of injuries. It's a fun sport, but definitely it's aggressive.
I think that's an oxymoron that you just said there. Fun and injury?
Yeah.
I don't know many people who would equate the two of those things.
Yeah, I've had a lot of injuries playing that sport, but yeah, no, I started from the age of 28, and then I stopped playing when I was 28. So yeah, solid 10 years.
You started at 20 and
18 to 28.
18 to 28.
Mm-hmm. 10 years, yeah. But for me, it was, I got married when I was 21.
Wow.
So I've been married for 14 years.
Congratulations.
2 kids. And, it was a balancing act. So playing kabaddi was spending time with the boys on the ground, having a little parting time after the games, and then coming home to the wife and baby. It was
trying to balance it all.
It was a balance, yeah.
Well, you made it through. I think that probably was a challenging time for you, but you sort of stuck through it.
Yeah.
Because you had some other goals really in mind in terms of where you wanted to go and what you wanted to do with your life. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so my goal was once again, I had, I guess, this obsession of wanting to get big and learning how the body worked, how everything in regards to nutrition. I just wanted to know it all. I was like a sponge. I want to absorb it. So while I was playing kabaddi, I also went back to school to a private university to get essentially more knowledge on the whole health and fitness side of things.
Right,
And
so you did another degree in health and fitness.
Yeah, so I spent
how did
2
that
years.
change you, or how has that helped you in your journey?
It's helped me out tremendously. I was able to coach a lot of the guys during the time I played kabaddi, giving them tips and tricks on not just training, but on the nutrition. I try to tell everyone that now that 80% of the battle is nutrition. The fun part and the easy part is working out. We all want to do that, or we all can do that, but the hard part is the nutrition. So I was implementing that while we were playing kabaddi, helping out some of the players, and I don't want to say I was using them as guinea pigs, but at a younger age, you're trying to run your own little tests on people. What works, what doesn't work, So I was getting all this information from the university I was going to and applying it at that age, and then I started doing personal training, one-on-one, taking on clients. I quit the regular 9-to-5 gig that I had, and
so
just
that's
one
a
thing
big
led to
step.
another.
Yeah, so just making that move from having a regular income coming in and working for someone, and then moving into the realm of entrepreneurship where you are doing your own thing and you have to now go and hunt clients.
Yeah.
What were the first couple of years like?
It's definitely a challenge. It is tough, but I took a very unique approach to things because the thing with the personal training industry, it's not very regulated. So I felt that having the degree in health and fitness and my background in kabaddi and sports kind of gave me a leg up. I did have my certifications, but I also really went above and beyond for my clients in terms of telling them what they should be eating. Most personal trainers, we always say, are rep counters, so I didn't want to be a rep counter. I wanted to be someone who was full of knowledge.
What's a rep
just someone just standing there just telling you, okay, yeah, that's 1, that's 2, 3, 4, 5. They're just counting reps, but they're not really educating on the movement, the anatomy of the body, how you should be executing the exercise, or what you should be eating. So these were things that I had to implement.
So I saw a couple of videos in which you and your wife have done a couple of things. One is fitness for women, and the second one that I viewed was about nutritious eating and the balance between your protein intake versus, you can explain the...
Yeah, so basically the mindset is to understand that first and foremost, nutrition is the absolute most important thing. And the way a well-balanced diet should be, or a nutrition plan. I don't like using the word diet because it already implies that it's going to be temporary. You're not going to do it for very long. Right. So a 40-40-20 split is very balanced, meaning you have 40% of the macros coming from protein, 40% from carbs, and 20% from fats, I'm sorry. So 40-40-20. That's a very well-balanced nutrition plan.
What's a good fat to use then?
Yeah, so good fats would be avocado is good. You could use almonds. I'm kind of a boring person. I always repeat and use the same things over and over, but there's plenty of options that are out there. You could even use macadamia nuts, and the list goes on and on. Yeah,
and
but those are my go-to, or even whole eggs. Whole eggs are good as well. The yolk.
As your okay. And what about your protein source? What's it?
Protein source, I like to stick with whey protein, chicken breast. You could have the occasional beef if you're a beef eater. Try to stay a little more on the lean side, and fish. Yeah.
Okay,
those are my go-tos, and egg whites. A whole lot of egg whites.
Egg whites.
Yes. Yeah.
So your ultimate omelet would be all egg whites?
I don't eat too much of the omelets. What I usually do is make a nice egg white shake. I usually get liquid egg whites. I put it in my Vitamix blender, put in whatever fruits I want for my carbs, and maybe add a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of stevia for extra sugar, blend it up, and I just drink that bad boy.
Okay, you guys are not seeing my face because I gave him a look like he's just... sounds like a nightmare to me.
Well, but you know what's even more gross is sometimes for competition, before competition, I'm eating so many meals and I'm so on top of it, I can't skip a meal, but I'm sick and tired of eating. My jaw starts hurting.
Oh gosh.
So there's times when I will get my fish or my chicken
And blend it?
I will blend it. And I even have a video on it on my Instagram. You could see it.
Oh, I don't think I'm going to watch that one.
Yeah, and I blend it up, throw
that,
my
like,
sweet potatoes and veggies, grind it up and drink it. I'm just like, forget it.
That totally destroyed the experience of eating.
Yeah, I do whatever it takes sometimes.
All right, so there you have it. We are going to take a break and come back. With us today, we have TJ Dosanjh, who is here, and we're talking about fitness and health and all things California.
Yeah.
And we're back on Terry's Drive-In with TJ Dosanjh, who's here from California, and we are learning a lot of things about fitness and healthy living from him. So TJ, tell us about your first, I know you started your own company, and it's based off of your own name.
Yes.
So TJ stands for...
So my, but the Punjabi name is Dosanjh, the Dosanjh. The Tan means body, or Jodha means warrior. So that's why my company name is Team Body Warrior.
Which is perfect. It just sort of landed in your lap, which is a great name. So Team Body Warrior came to life. When was the inception of it?
You know, as far as the name, it's only been a couple of years. But I've been coaching for 13 years, but I needed this catchy name. My coaching has been kind of in the works for the last 13 years. It's always like progressing. You know, when you're working for a gym, you can't really have your own company name. You can't take away any of their clients, you know, but then I made the move a couple of years ago where I was like, well, I'm already managing all my clients. I'm already doing everything. I'm just going to do my own thing, you know?
Right. So that was a nerve-wracking move that you had to make.
Yes.
When you decided to break out and do your own thing, how did you land your first client?
You know, first clients were actually individuals who I already knew, or they knew I was coaching, and I started kind of putting myself out there on Instagram. You know, you can look me up. It's Team Body Warrior, and I started putting up pictures of my competitions or what I was eating, and then my cousins, family, friends, they just started taking notice. So essentially I took on a couple of friends of mine, and you would think, hey, if they're my friends, oh, no problem, I could just you know, kind of wing it. But that's not how I am or how I operate. But so in the beginning it was very nerve-wracking, because you're laying out this plan, you're calculating you know, essentially what they're going to be doing on a daily basis, what they're going to be eating, what they're going to be working out based on their schedule, because I custom tailor the programs.
So your training schedule is not just about a workout, it's about the whole system.
Yes.
It's from
mindset,
it's
everything.
Like a mind, body, intake, all of that.
Yes.
That all affects the results that you're looking for, your clients are looking for.
Correct.
Did you have moments of doubts?
Yeah, I definitely had moments of doubts. You know, I always try to tell everyone and myself that if you train the mind, the body will follow. You know, and you have to, the motto is executing daily. But actually doing that and executing upon it on a daily basis is a different story. Talking about it and doing it is two different things. So it's motivating myself. You know, I don't have too much of a challenge, but sometimes I need a kick in the butt. But I need to do that because that's the energy I'm going to be putting out to my clients. So it's essential that I'm being positive. I'm putting out good content on Instagram, having good conversations with my clients, and giving them that motivation that they need, because that's why they're kind of seeking my guidance. So I always try to tell everyone that we always have to control your behavior patterns. We have to pay attention to what are you doing right now that's not working. We have to eliminate those things, and we have to focus on the things that are going to work. So that's how I try to tailor my programs, you know, based on their schedule, their habits, and creating a positive environment, essentially.
So someone who's a complete novice like myself, for example, comes in and says, hey, I need help. What would be your first steps?
My first thing is not giving someone too many things to do at once. I always say the first thing I want you to do is wake up in the morning, and I want you to do a fast walk or a jog for 20 minutes.
Okay.
I don't want you doing anything else. Don't change your nutrition. Don't do anything else. Because if I give you too many things, it's overwhelming and you're not going to do it. So we try to incorporate these small little changes, little by little. Even when I make tweaks to the nutrition plan, I try to give them a similar amount of calories they're consuming. And then as weeks go on, I start making adjustments. You know, so it's slow changes. I don't do any quick fixes. I'm not a believer in that. So that's why I try to just take a nice, practical approach. I don't try to do these crazy crash diets or any of that stuff as well.
How long does a change that you make become a habit?
You know, I know everyone says it's the whole 21 days. For a lot of people, you've heard maybe 21 days. I think, to be honest with you, it takes at least 3 months.
Okay.
3 to 6 months, in my opinion, is what it takes to create a habit if you're executing it on a daily basis. Now, if you're skipping days in between, then, you know,
it takes
it's going to take longer. Yeah.
What are some, maybe your 5 quick tips that you would give to our listeners as to, first off, in 2 different areas? One, healthy eating, what should they do? And second being healthy exercise or healthy lifestyle, what should they do?
Yeah, healthy eating, you want to incorporate things that are natural. And now I'm not meaning it has to be organic or anything along the lines of that, but for protein, stick with chicken, stick with fish, egg whites, stick to these kind of things. What you don't want to do is start getting too much into the whole protein bars and things that have all these extra additional added sugars, you know. Now, whey protein is kind of an exception because whey protein is essentially the leftover of cheese. These manufacturers are making cheese. They're basically gathering all the fat that's put in the cheese, and the leftover is the protein, the whey protein, and then they're turning around and selling it and maybe adding a little flavor to it. So it's pretty natural. It's not bad. Okay. So I would and for carbohydrates, stick to the fruits. Definitely need your veggies. Another good source of carbs is going to be oatmeal, sweet potatoes. So you're going to notice I'm not really adding in donuts to the equation, even though I'm a donut lover.
There you go. Would you say Krispy Kreme or Tim Hortons?
I do Krispy Kreme.
He's Canadian. He's here in Canada. He's going to have to deal with Canadians here.
I know.
Don't give us Krispy Kreme. All right, so we'll have to find a haunt here where we are recording to get his donut high there. That's why you stayed hungry all day today. You were waiting for the donut.
Yeah, I know. Probably. Right. I'm off season right now, so I'll take a donut.
So how long does, speaking of which, how long does off season last?
So, off season is a big misconception. Some individuals think when I say off season, they're saying, oh, you're not working out or anything. No, off season is actually a time for me to focus on my things that I actually need to work on. If I need to develop a certain area of my body, or if I need to make any adjustments to workouts, this is the time for me to do it. But off season is allowing me to consume extra calories. Here and there I'll have a cheat meal, but those extra calories are giving me the extra energy to get in a longer and better workout and push more weight, therefore packing on more muscle. And later on,
ultimate goal is to build muscle.
Build muscle, because the thing is muscle is very hard to add onto the human body. So if you have more muscle, you burn more calories, therefore you burn more fat, and that's the ultimate goal. I want to take advantage of these next few years of packing on muscle because, let's face it, as we get older, it's only going to get harder and harder. So I always say start off young, bang out those weights, don't be afraid of them because they're only going to help you.
What's too young an age to start with weights?
I would say anything before hitting, puberty, essentially.
For girls and boys?
For girls and boys, yeah.
Okay, and is there a exercise regime that is better suited for teenagers as versus young?
Yeah, so if it's someone who hasn't gone through puberty yet, then I recommend body weight exercises, pull-ups, push-ups, burpees, jumping jacks, those kind of things, and running, and then as you're maturing, then sure, you can start incorporating more weights. And when it comes to weights, I'm a firm believer in sticking to the basics. You still want to do the push-ups and sit-ups and pull-ups, but adding in very basic movements such as a dumbbell bench press, military press, lat pull downs, and good leg exercises. I think keeping it simple and effective is the key. Don't need to make overcomplicate it.
Okay, so we spoke about healthy eating. What are your 5 basic lifestyle changes or health exercises that you would suggest would be people should incorporate into?
I think for sure burpees is a really good exercise. It's an overall generally just a good exercise. It burns a lot of calories. If you do them fast, it almost turns into a cardio workout. Definitely not easy, but very effective. So burpees, doing different variations of push-ups is very good. Mountain climbers.
There's this new fad about planking.
Planks are very good. I think planks are good. I'm not a firm believer in having to do 1,000 crunches. It's how effective are you doing it? Are you, breathing out when you're crunching your abs together? Are you doing it in a nice and controlled fashion? Everything must be controlled. You control the weights don't control you. That's what I always tell everyone. You control the tempo, not the other way around.
Right. Well, we've been in conversation with TJ Dosanjh, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk about another aspect of his life, and that is competing as a bodybuilder.
Yeah, men's physique.
Men's physique. There
I
you
don't
not
want the
bodybuilder. We're going to come back
men.
and talk about what those two differences are, because I clearly did not understand that. And we're back on Terry's Drive-In. I'm Annie Koshy, and with me today we do have TJ Dosanjh, and we're talking to him about his journey in fitness training as a trainer, as well as his own journey in sports. We're going to talk about not bodybuilding, men's physique.
Yes.
I clearly did not understand that, TJ, so explain to me, a novice, what the difference is.
So, if I said bodybuilding, all my bodybuilder friends would probably have a little hissy fit. But bodybuilding, there's different categories. I compete with the NPC, National Physique Committee, and then once you hit the pro level, you're in the IFBB. So we go by, there's a bodybuilding category, there is a classic physique category, then there's men's physique. After that. So bodybuilding's been around since, day one. Then it was men's physique, then classic physique. So essentially bodybuilders are the bigger, more freakier look,
Okay, so they're the ones that are all beefed up, and you see the magazine covers with their legs, and I think they put some oil on them so that they make them all shiny.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Us men's physique competitors do that when we're on stage. We have to tan. Yeah, even though we're
you're
brown, we still have to put a spray tan on because the lights.
Seriously?
Yeah, because the lights on the stage are so bright. When they're shining down on you, they'll just blur you out, no matter how ripped you are. Wow. So we have to put some kind of tan.
So do you tan and make your like Hercules lines?
No, that would be, they wouldn't allow that. But it makes your skin nice, and basically you're one even tone. Some people are going to roll up with a farmer's tan. We can't have that. So, we got to make them one nice even tone and a little bit darker because the lights will blur you out otherwise, yeah.
I always wondered because they all look toasted.
That's why,
right?
Yeah. That's the reason why. So, so I do men's physique where we're going for more of the aesthetic, board shorts, kind of the model look, a little smaller. And so that's kind of the difference. But essentially, are we building the body? Are we bodybuilders? Yes. That's the answer.
Yeah, so then in terms of bodybuilding as versus men's physique competitions, what are the criteria?
Essentially they're similar in terms of you want the nice round delts, you want the V-taper look, you want to have a nice wide back. But bodybuilders are going to have a lot more muscle. That means you got to be eating way more calories. You got to bump up that protein. So the workouts are going to be a little bit more different. At the end of the day, both of us are trying to pack on muscle, but bodybuilders are trying to pack it on a lot more to the extreme level. So with men's physique, we're still doing very similar workouts. It's not like we're doing anything different in terms of the working out aspect or the nutrition. It's just different amounts of volume, different amounts of probably protein intake, things like that.
Now you have been competing You've been doing this competitively.
Yeah.
Tell us about that journey and what are your achievements and what's been going on with there.
Yeah, so after Kabaddi, I kind of had a little bit of a gap where I didn't know what I was going to do. I've always been physically active. I've been involved in, playing Kabaddi, being in the gym, always working out, doing something physical, and after that, I didn't know what to do, but I figured, hey, I have this lifelong dream of wanting to jump on the stage. I had a neighbor who actually was competing as a bodybuilder, and I seen him come out of his house one day, and we're chit-chatting, and I was like, oh my God, this guy's in awesome shape. And I said, I'm going to pick his brain. I know what he does, but I want a little more in-depth information. Like, where do I sign up? Like, where are these competitions?
Right,
where do I go?
right.
What do I do? So that's how I kind of started my journey off.
Have you
in men's
surpassed
physique.
him? Is he still your neighbor?
No, he owns multiple.
I'm not going to be neighbors with this guy any longer. He's like
he does a different category. He was he's about 10 years older than me, and he has multiple businesses. So I know he did many competitions. He's won a lot of them. But then he's married with kids, and life goes on. It's this for us. This is a hobby. It's something that we just do on the side. That we're gym rats at the end of the day.
Right.
We're meatheads. We like to hit the weights and we like to eat protein. What can I say? So
he's a gym rat. That's all he does.
It's just one of those deals. So
TJ is actually a celebrity trainer. Tell us about some of the celebrities that you're training.
Yeah, so I had an awesome opportunity to essentially take on Annie Koshy, who's a well-known Punjabi singer and Punjabi actor, but now he's made his debut here into the Bollywood scene with the 83 film. So I've had an opportunity to train him for the 83 film, which Kabir Khan is directing.
And that's
going to be about it's about cricket. It's about the 83 match that took place in England that India had won. And so a lot of top-notch actors in there. Ranveer Singh is going to be playing Kapil Dev. You have Saqib Salim. The list goes on.
Wow.
And on.
And when's that slated for release?
That's going to be April next year. I believe it's April 10th is the date. But April next year. It's going to be a Bollywood blockbuster hit for
so you had some behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You can't let out the scoop.
Yeah, I can't. I have some awesome video footage and pictures I cannot release. But we will,
listeners, we will stay in touch with him and just get the scoop on the inside,
So Emmy gave me the opportunity to, essentially coach him. So I went out to India, stayed there 6 weeks with him, training, lived with him side by side, taking care of his nutrition, watching what he was eating. And now over this time, we're just really good friends. And then I flew out with him to the UK, trained him over there. Same thing for the movie because they were doing different scenes in different areas. And because of him, I was introduced to other, I guess you could say, celebrities. So Gary Sandhu is a client of mine, really good friend of mine as well. And the goal is for us to start pushing health and fitness into people's lives. Now, naturally, being that I'm Indian and they're Indian, we're going to be catering, I guess you could say, to the Indian community. But essentially, we're trying to spread the word of health and fitness.
It's about
out there.
health and fitness across the board. It doesn't really matter where you're from, even regardless of which country, because TJ actually does a lot of his training, as you mentioned to me earlier, online.
Correct.
And so, how can people find you?
Yeah, so you could check out my website. It's teambodywarrior.com. I'm on Instagram, Team Body Warrior. I have a Facebook page. I don't use it as often, but same thing. It's Team Body Warrior. And now I'm trying to create content for my YouTube channel, Team Body Warrior, as well. Just trying to give different behind-the-scenes footage of me training Emmy, Gary, or a little bit into my mind of how I think about certain things like the keto diet or, how to set up nutrition plans and stuff like that.
Mention something. Yeah. Tell us, is there a best diet out there? What do you think about the keto diet? Is there something that you would use or recommend?
So it's not that I don't think the keto diet works. Keto diet does work, but the problem is it doesn't fit into most people's lifestyle. You're essentially creating a deficit through taking out carbohydrates. Now, who can I mean, how many people do you know that doesn't want to eat, a burrito or have, their favorite cereal or, potatoes or something like that? There's not many people who could do that. So I don't think, it's not that it doesn't work, it's just not practical. So that's why I say having a 40-40-20 split between your macronutrients is ideal for most individuals. That's where I usually start off with most of my clients, and then I make adjustments throughout depending on what their goal is. I tweak it. So 40% protein, 40% carbs, 20% fats.
How do you maintain something like that when you go out to a restaurant?
That's a great question. And for myself and for, the people listening and my clients, I always tell everyone, you could go to any restaurant in the world and they will most likely have chicken. They will have eggs. They will have rice. And they're already using butter or some kind of oil for the fat, so you don't need to worry about necessarily adding fats to it. But I can't name a place that doesn't have chicken and rice or some sort of protein source and carb source. They're all over the place.
If you have a vegetarian or vegan listening, what's a good alternative to chicken that they should use?
Yeah, so for anyone who doesn't want to eat meat, I would say like a low, like a 2% or low-fat cottage cheese, whey protein.
Soy?
You could do soy, and you could do like a Greek yogurt, like a low-fat Greek yogurt. It's packed full of protein. Yeah.
Right.
It's a good protein source.
Okay, so there you have it. We had in studio today TJ Dosanjh, who's here from California, talking to us about health and fitness and where he's come as trainer. I believe we will have him back at some point in the future when he visits us here in Toronto again. This is Annie Koshy on behalf of Terry's Drive-In. You can listen to us Saturdays and Sundays, 3 to 5 p.m. at Saga 960 a.m.